position of Sheffield City Region Mayor mean to you?
Well, I was born and bred in South Yorkshire, and I've been in industry here most of my working life. I'm an engineer, and I just felt I've always tried to give back to the city and the region. I was chairman of Sheffield's Training Enterprise Council. I was director of NHS South Yorkshire, and I just felt with this opportunity to receive some government funding to help this devolution deal go ahead is something I wanted to put my skills towards. It's vitally important for this region that we get the recognition and the coherent plans that we need, and actually we need to rise above the sort of infighting between the different councils. And I've done that in the past when I was chairman of Sheffield Tech. I worked with the other tech chairman and the local council at the time to get over £2 billion worth of funding for the region. And that's the kind of thing, if we work together collaborative, if we lead that as a mayor I would, that's the kind of thing we want to replicate and do again with a coherent plan. The government will listen because I have the government's ear, and that's something they want to invest in South Yorkshire for.
Well, transport is one of the areas that we know that the mayor is going to have some influence over. How are you going to make South Yorkshire more connected?
Well, I met with Barry White, the Chief Executive of Transport for North, a couple of days ago. Some great plans for, obviously, HS2, a Transpennine road tunnel. But I think the thing that we can work on most importantly and quickly is getting the buses working better for people. We've got sometimes you've got buses coming from different companies, one within 5 minutes of the other, then it's an hour's wait till the next one, or different prices. We need a proper integrated ticketing system across the buses, and also not just for South Yorkshire, but for the combined neighbouring places like North East Derbyshire, so people can actually travel freely. That will really help social mobility and people getting to their jobs and so on.
How are you going to make sure with this position that there are enough opportunities for young people in South Yorkshire?
Well, that's absolutely vital. And, as an employer, we take on apprentices. We have some from the Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre, which is a world-beating place. But what I've seen is a lot of people follow training in media and sports science, which is wonderful. But actually, we need to align their training with the prospects in place for their future jobs. Unemployment's come down 40%, but actually we need better quality, higher quality skilled jobs in South Yorkshire. And only by aligning the training that young people get, and I was an advocate of the University Technical Colleges for engineering, help get the universities interested in that. That's the kind of thing we need to push more of so we can get the right skills for young people.
When elected, the mayor is going to have limited powers in terms of what he or she can influence. What more powers do you want from the government, and how are you going to go about getting that?
I'd like to see, in addition to the powers which have already been announced, I'd like to see the mayor's been having more ability to coordinate things like health and social care. I say I was a non-exec director of the NHS South Yorkshire. I feel there's more we can do on training and getting budgets for young folks. When I was chairman of Sheffield's Training Enterprise Council, there's a lot of government funding for that. I think what is incumbent upon us as a region, and as a mayor I'll be leading that, is to come up with coherent plans that actually will bring investment into the region. And so far, with the infighting between the councils, we've not had that coherency. And I think with a coherent plan, government will listen, and they'll listen to me.
Final question. How do you see the future of South Yorkshire devolution, obviously with the prospect of this One Yorkshire deal?
Well, nobody's turning their backs or saying it's closed, the idea of having a One Yorkshire deal. But for now, this is the deal that's on the table. There's nothing that's been put forward to government as a coherent, credible plan for the One Yorkshire deal. The RDAs for Yorkshire Forward didn't really work. And when I was at the Tech, I learned that actually it's cities that drive economies. So I think this is the deal that's on the table at the moment. Nobody's closing their minds to future deals, but this is the deal that's on the table at the moment. And I think we're really good for Sheffield City Region and South Yorkshire as a whole if we can grab hold of it now, work forward, and then come up with plans for more funding.
Okay, Ian Walker, thank you very much.
My pleasure.